Here we go.
Hunt Companion.
We got it right.
Boy, I really got to recalibrate on
Well, we
this.
just did I don't know, a lot of them in a row. A lot of farm companions in a row.
That's true.
It's just hard to think that we're it's hunting season.
You break the cycle. Yeah.
I think it has been just, we talked about we just had some really awesome fall weather, but we're still dry and it's I don't know. I feel like it's hunting season, but I don't. Kentucky opened this weekend and I didn't even flinch. I'm oh, forgot.
Well, yeah. So what are you thinking?
I don't know. So on the farm, on the Kentucky farm, I've got some really great young bucks showing up, but the one 6-year-old I'm missing. I don't know where he is. And there's another big one that I saw in June who hasn't shown back up. So I'm kind of just waiting there. I do have a 5-year-old 10-point behind my cabin that has been fairly consistent. I'd rather put a kid on him for sure, but he just hasn't grown in 3 years. He went from an 8 to a 9 to a 10, but frame wise, he just hasn't grown. He's a cool deer. I'm a 5-year-old mountain deer. But I'd like to put a kid. But yeah, two things. One is I just don't have anything that's pulling me close. Because it was a late start this year, it was Saturday, which was the 6th or 7th. I would say 70% of my deer were out of velvet on opening day. So the attraction of maybe a big velvet buck wasn't there either. And I've got the elk season looming. So it's if I go and spend 4 days in Kentucky now, I'm gonna come home and then I've got 10 or 11 days planned for the elk hunt here coming up.
Okay.
And so I figured probably not push the marriage bar early in the season because then we still have October and November after that.
Right. So when is that? What's that kind of slotted for? When does that start?
So the elk season opens Saturday officially, the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening to this, it would be yesterday. Elk season open. As of right now, I am holding Braveheart, holding the first week, and I'm going to go down on the 21st, which is a Sunday.
Okay.
And be there through the 29th.
Okay.
And so that will be all of archery season, or the second week of archery season and the first gun bull season.
Okay.
That I'll be there for. I'm going to still use my bow, but I'll be there because that's peak rut, that time frame right there.
Yep. Well, so that's 8 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it comes back in on October 4th for another bull season. So I might go back.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but right now I've got the 21st to the 29th booked. I've got an Airbnb down there in Eastern Kentucky I'm staying in.
Cool.
So I booked that. I might go, maybe I go down early and hunt deer in Kentucky on my way down or something like that. But that's the main dedicated time frame. I've got 8 days that I'm going to be beating the bush down there.
Cool. It's a big one.
Peak rut. So I'm just listening for bugles and charging in on them.
Holding out for a certain class of bull or?
Probably not.
Is there a legal minimum?
Nope.
There's not.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. So would you like to shoot bigger than will you shoot a raghorn or? Probably.
You will? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, expectations right now, I've gotten one bull on camera so far, and it's probably a 2-year-old 4x4, 5x4, something like that. That's the only bull I've seen on camera. I've seen cows on camera in one spot, but I've also seen a lot of outfitters on camera.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if I go down there and I don't even see an elk, then I'm not going to be super particular about it.
Well, I would assume in the first day or two, you'll get a gist for whether it's sign or if you're hearing them or seeing them.
Exactly.
Kind of what you're going to get into.
Yeah, I expect the first 3 days, 4 days to be a lot of miles, just covering ground, listening for bugles, making moves, finding sign, finding fresh, just being in on elk, basically. Not to say that my scouting and earlier this month didn't pay off, but the one spot that I'm getting elk, I'm seeing a lot of outfitters on, and it's fairly easy access. So again, I mean, there's one bull that I've gotten on camera, and he's not it's not one where I'm man, I got to kill that thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, and they'll have a week on me before I even get there, so that they could be wiped out. The other spots I haven't, one camera's gone, bear ate it. So I don't know what happened there. That's where I found that really big track. I do think there's a big bull in that area. The other camera, I haven't got a single elk on camera, and I can't believe it, dude. I had like mega autumn olives just raked, like destroyed. I haven't had a single elk walk this secluded road. Doesn't mean they're not there, right? They could be just around it. But nothing on it. So
I think it definitely doesn't mean that.
Yeah. So
I would just disregard your cameras altogether.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna. I've got good spots that I've got spots I've ruled out, which may be just as valuable. Like I just didn't find any sign there.
Yep.
So I'll go to the spots that I have sign. I've got a few spots that I haven't checked out. I just didn't make it to. That are tough. I'm looking for tough access. I guess back up. I've talked to a couple outfitters down there. Mainly just because I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not from down there. I don't want to hire an outfitter, but like if I get in a jam, like it's nice to have a phone call that I can make type of thing, whether I get stuck or whatever. And they were really good guys, which makes me feel, better about what I've said in the past about some of those outfitters. But in fact, a couple of them invited me to dinner, which is kind of cool. Just they're like, hey, come hang out in camp, have dinner with us. We got plenty of food, which I might do. And they were like, man, our quality of hunters just declined so much. Like basically guys just went driven around in a buggy with a crossbow and they just want to shoot 90 yards at an elk. They don't want to go walk. If they hear a bugle down in the bottom, they're not walking down there. Like they're just not going after them. So that tells me that if I can find some elk in some tougher terrain, well, I've got that probably to myself.
What are they attributing that to? Like over time they're saying that, or just...
Yeah, they're just hunters are lazy anymore. He said that when they first started this like 15 years ago, he's like, dudes were like, they'd hike up a mountain, to get up, and then bull wouldn't be there and they walk back down, they find another one, now they just want to ride around. They just like they're deer hunting, ride around and sit somewhere and hope it walks by. So that, if there's some harder to reach places that I can find some elk, that gives me a lot of confidence that I can be on them in there. So that's, I'll end up putting a lot of miles on probably those first few days. But yeah, so to hold out, they kill a lot of 325 to 350 inch bulls off of there.
They do.
Oh yeah. They've killed a couple 400s.
Oh, and that doesn't make you set some kind of expectation for you?
It does a little bit. I take it back. I hunted elk for 4 or 5 days with Emily's uncle in 23. And, the bull that we saw was probably a 2 or 3 year old. And I probably would have shot that bull.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, we definitely had the herd around us, and the herd bull, we just never saw him. And I do think I know which bull that was, because I think I saw him get shot in gun season that year, and he was like 365, 370. Wow. Just a pig.
Wow.
So there are big ones. It's just the country. It's funny to talk to even the locals there, and that they're like, man, there's just no more elk, and this is the Kentucky Department's telling us there's 13,000, like the biggest elk herd east of the Mississippi River. And it's because it's gone from foot tall grasslands for hundreds of acres to 12-foot tall autumn olive. Like you just don't see them.
Right.
And they're only bugling for 3 weeks or whatever. So and even that, people aren't, they hear it, but they don't see it. Right. So I think there are quite a few elk in a lot of these areas. They're buried, and so you're going to have to work for them. You're going to have to put miles on. You're going to have to call at them. You're going to have to play the wind and position on them, especially if you're hunting a herd bull who's got 10 cows with them. So that's kind of my strategy. So yeah, expectation wise, I can tell you if I find a herd bull, I'm all in. Like I'll marry to them and I'll hunt them until somebody kills them or I kill them. Other than that, I'm just planning on going to keep bouncing. Like if I find a smaller bull on the outskirts, especially early, I probably will just mark them and keep moving. But if he's there, there's probably a herd bull somewhere around with cows and he's just satelliting. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I'm not going to get over greedy. I'm not going to say I'm holding out for a 350 or something, but
sure.
I've talked to a lot of people. Kirk Price and I had a good conversation about it. Nick Munt and I talked about it the other day because Nick hunted down there. He had a landowner tag.
That's right.
So yeah, it'll be interesting, especially the transition from, again, I'll have 1 week of bow season. So I'll start on a Sunday or Saturday, depending on when I get there. And then the following Saturday is the first gun season. Most people would look at that as like a negative. You're like, boy, you got to beat gun season, right? Because once gun season comes in, it's going to get tougher. I'm looking at it a bit advantage in that it goes from 37 tags in a unit to about 12. So you got guys with guns, but half of those people are going to be on private land, my guess, with guides. Another quarter of those guys are going to be on those highly managed elk areas. So maybe there's 2 or 3 guys plus me with 31,000 acres of public.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of look at that as an advantage, and that's peak rut. I mean, you're in it at that point. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect, but that's, I guess, my distractions, at least. I mean, it was good timing for it. Is like I haven't had anything crazy in Kentucky. Obviously, Ohio, we're dancing around this EHD and everything, and my food plots look like trash, and so I'm kind of all in September on focusing on elk.
Mm-hmm.
And then elk really goes out October 5th or 6th, and then you can't hunt them again until December. So like, at that point, my mindset can switch to whitetail, and I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yep.
Until December, and then by that time, I'm not even thinking about whitetail. So, yeah. So that's the strategy right now. It's just to enjoy, 8 or 9 days down there, just crushing it, putting miles on, and hopefully hearing some bugles and getting aggressive on them.
That'd be cool, man. What if you shoot one?
I'll be stoked. Yeah.
Yeah. How are you gonna get it out of there?
Pack them out. Quarter by quarter. Yep. Just take my time.
Dude, they're big animals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Most of the areas that I'm in.
You got a good pack frame?
Yep. I bought an Eberly stock pack frame. It's awesome. I was hauling the kids around on it the other day. I bought those steel shot packs that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Put 125 pounds on it, ruck it around. Yep. Feels comfortable. Yep. And I'm in.
Dude, those freaking NL quarter is so massive. I don't know what one actually weighs.
I bet it's I was looking. I bet it's about 100 to 125, depending on how big it is. It would be my on like a bull. A cow's probably 70 or less, but I bet a bull's like 100 to 125.
Let me Google that
on a quarter, because you're talking about an 800-pound animal, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that being in the chest and cavity and stuff like that.
Yeah, it just says 40 to 100 pounds.
I bet it's more than that on a bull, but
bone in, quartered often weighs around 65 pounds. On a bone in, yeah, it seems like it would be more than that.
I bet it's 100.
Yeah.
So yeah, just take my time. I won't say I'm in the best shape of my life, but I'm in really fucking good shape from running, for training for this 100 and stuff. Like, yeah, I feel like I can rip. So yeah, and I've got like a little bivy sack and stuff. Like if I feel like I'm just gonna take a nap in the woods for a few hours and take a break, that's what I'll do. Or I'll sleep in my truck wherever I'm hauling out to.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of the conversation with the guides, is like, he's got a few guys that if I get in a jam, like if I shoot one way down in the bottom, it's gonna be hard. I call them and tip them, and they'll come and help me get it out. And they were really cool about that. So
I'm anxious at some point in the future to hear about the moment when you walk up on it and you're like, how the frick am I going to get this thing out of here? Like, they're just it's such a monstrous animal.
Yeah.
Compared to a deer, you know what I mean? Well, because plan on it'll take you at least 1, 2.
Oh, I was thinking 5 trips.
Maybe 5 trips to get everybody out of there.
Yeah, 5 trips to get it out. Yeah, and I've never done it before, so like in my mind, I'm processing like, do I basically skin and quarter? Like, do I have everything out? Like, am I hanging quarters on trees essentially? And then that way, I'm just coming in and picking up type of thing.
Yeah, I think you want to get them separated from each other from a heat standpoint as soon as possible. But you also want to keep the bugs off of them.
Yep, which I've got really nice game bags and everything too.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah,
I think that's what you do. I think you quarter it. You gutter it, you gut it, you cape it, you quarter it as quickly as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Get them in game bags in shade. Try to by getting the meat apart from one. It's like even the thighs, like when they're held together like that,
holds heat.
Just pull
just
everything
open
apart.
it all up. Yep.
Open everything up. I mean, I don't know if you can even come back with ice or something, some way to cool them. Like if you're making multiple return trips.
And at that time, it just depends on the weather too. At that time, it won't be too bad. I mean, we've had, hell, we were just in a stretch of 40s and 60s, and you've got plenty of time to get an animal out in 60 and 70 degree weather for sure. And if it's in a bottom or something, if it's in a bottom, there's probably a creek. It's going to stay cooler or shady. If it's on top, it'll probably be closer to my vehicle.
Yeah, that's critical. Just keep it out of the sun.
Yep. So, yeah, just kind of work at it. We were just talking. Dudley sent us some Montana knives, so I'll definitely have that on me, too. I've got a full kit for caping and stuff. I've got that pack. I think my initial plan was like maybe, because I'm going to use that big Kuiu pack that we had for muleys, is that maybe I could stuff that with back straps and tenders or something on the first trip out. And then come back with the frame pack for quarters and everything else.
Yeah, man. It's going to be an adventure for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it. I mean, because I've never done a Western adventure, right? And I love the Appalachians. Like, that's my home, and so just being down in and around there, it was really cool to step through. So, yeah, I mean, if I get into bugling elk and I shoot one and, I don't know. I'm just going to suck it all in. And like I said, if I want to take if I shoot them in an evening and it's overnight or whatever, I'll just take a nap on my truck and go back. It's gonna be cool out. Come back in the morning, get the rest, and just take my time and maybe hire a local Kentucky guy to help me get it out if I get.
That's how I see it going. I see like at some point there you'll make buddies with somebody who's got a UTV. That's what I would do. Yeah,
I've got and that, like I said, a couple of those outfitters been really cool with me.
Or maybe you get the first 2 loads out, and the guy's like, "You're doing this. Hold on, let me help
you. Okay, sure, you want to help me? So
he'll find you passed out on the side of a road.
Is it weird though that like part of me, like it's not It's kind of like when we talk about our mule deer hunt. Like, it's not, the hunt itself it will be challenging just because it is nasty terrain, but it's not like a Western pack-in spike camp. Like, I'm going to an Airbnb every night if I want to.
Right.
I can sleep on my truck if I want to. But, so like, part of, I guess, the like adventure aspect is like, if I kill one, like the challenge of packing it out.
Yeah.
And again, it's not like, and I don't say this disrespectfully, these elk are not like Pennsylvania elk either. Like, we drive up to Benazet and they're like, there's bull elk just bedding in people's yards. Like these are like wild animals. Like, they're not tolerant of humans like that.
Well, I guess maybe my perception is off too. Like, how far from a road would you anticipate killing one of these elk?
No more than 2 or 3 miles.
2 or 3 miles.
But I'm also like, from like a main road, like I'm going back in a lot of these well roads and stuff.
Yeah, from a drivable road.
I mean, dude, I was never, and maybe I will. I've got some spots that are bare. I was never more than 1.5 miles from my truck the whole time.
Okay. Yeah, so chances are you can probably get within 1 mile of where you kill one of these things.
Oh yeah, like if I would have had to go back and get my truck to move it close, there are a couple areas that are like they're blocked off, so you couldn't with a truck. Maybe.
Boy, it's just a giant animal.
I know.
You'll see.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
I commend you for being up for that. That enthusiasm is what's going to carry you through.
Yeah. So. Well, there'll be, like you said, there'll be an adrenaline for the first couple loads of like, holy shit, like you did it, like this is crazy, and then eventually it'll wear on you, And I guess I'm also looking at it as like, especially because I probably won't be running a ton while I'm out there, which is fine. I'm kind of winding down towards the race anyways. That's like training for me.
Yeah.
Like I just mentally, I'm just like, okay, this is like 100-mile training, like packing stuff, building legs, like. So I don't know, but also, what are the odds of me actually killing one?
I think they're pretty good. That's just how I feel about it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, supposedly for bow, odds are like 37%. Which is pretty good.
For you personally, it's at least 60.
Yeah, it's at least 60% of the time works every time. So I don't know. It'll be. I feel good. I feel good with my bow. I'm stoked to put 125 grain beast through one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel good. All my gear. I got my Predator stuff washed. My early season Predator spring green, which will be I'll feel just deadly in that stuff.
Yeah. I was loving mine in North Dakota.
Yeah.
Worked out great.
Yeah, I feel good about everything. I probably will. I'm going to throw my 0.5 in there too. There's a couple areas where I'm like, if you got into them, you could hang a set on like a water hole or something because they're dry down there now too.
Wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to rip into it. And Jason from Primo sent us a bunch of calls and been working with those. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect, but that's pretty exciting, I think.
Yep. Cool. So probably not much deer hunting before then? You said maybe on the way down, but
yeah, maybe on the way down to Kentucky.
But wait, you're waiting for the 6-year-olds to show up.
Yeah, I just haven't. I mean, the kids have had sports on every weekend. Like that's who I really am concerned with in the early season. Is like I'd like to get the kids on something, and they've been covered up in sports. So yeah, maybe I hunt a day on the way down or something. And but as of right now, I don't really have anything that I'm looking forward to chasing whitetail wise yet either. So, which is good because that's kept me home. My dad and I went down and we worked on the Ohio cabin for 2 days last week, but it's kept me home. I've been around for cross country and soccer and, hanging out with Emily and stuff. And so there'll be a point of like, 8 to 10 plus days where I'm like, I'm gone. So, no rush. I don't feel any pressure right now. And I just haven't seen anything that's like, that would be a tough thing if I had a really good buck in Kentucky right now where I'm like, boy, I got to go kill that deer at the same time I'm going to be gone for elk. But, haven't had that yet down there.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of in some ways, it's kind of a weird time of year. Like, we know like what we expect that they should be doing, and they're doing that, but it's also this drought is just, it's just a lens over everything. I feel kind of helpless to like just laugh at our food plot stuff because it's like, even if I wanted to go replant something, it's like it's not going to rain for another 20 days.
I've got like 100 pounds of rye sitting at my house in Pennsylvania, and I'm like, I should go put this on the plot. And then I look at the forecast, I'm like, why? The turkeys are just going to eat it for the next 2 weeks.
I know. So I'm reshaping my my strategy or just like thoughts on how it's going to kind of go. And at the same time, we still have a bunch of this farm, dynamic, as far as properties around us getting bought and sold and stuff. So that has me unsure of how all this is going to shake. I think I'm just really trying to like, by the time it gets here, find a place that I can be happy with, just like it's more of a decision to be like, well, I'm just going to make the most of the season.
That's it.
And I mean, outside of that, we have more opportunities than most people ever, get to see.
Kansas this year, which will be a blast.
That's right. Kansas and Illinois.
Who knows what shows up in Illinois?
Yeah. So there's all that to look forward to. So I'm trying not to like make my mind up about how the season is going to go just based on how it is right now, I think. So
that's kind of how I am, especially, well, knock on wood, in Ohio, we've been okay with the EHD so far. We talked about this on our last podcast a little bit that Clint from Ohio DNR did this presentation in EHD and showing these things, and one of those being the July precipitation being almost double what it normally is, and that being a big factor. And that was a really spotty time frame for rain. In fact, I remember in retrospect like cussing at the weatherman because I kept getting missed. And now looking back, it's like, is that one of the lifesavers that I have here? And that I think I was an inch or so over normal and they were 4 or 5 inches over normal rain.
Yeah.
So, right now we haven't had it. We had a blast. We end up building in three bedrooms at the cabin. We redid the whole bathroom, replaced the toilet, did all flooring and stuff. And, so that was fun, and the kids are stoked to go down there. So, my hope is we don't get smoked with EHD, and that, like, even if I don't have a super buck to hunt, like, there's plenty of deer that my dad and the kids will want to kill. And so we're looking forward to doing a couple deer camps during archery season and then gun season down there. And I know that there'll be some good bucks in Kentucky. In fact, I've got some really good young bucks that are, they're cool to see showing up. I know there's some bigger ones around. It's just time frame. So, yeah, it's just trying to take it in stride, and they're there. I mean, like you said, the drought is a big factor. The acorn production, man, is off the freaking charts. Like that in itself has got to have a huge effect right now on deer sightings and deer movement. Not to mention, like, anytime we get to these points where these bachelor groups start breaking up and deer start rubbing out, like they just go under for like 7 to 10 days. You know, they just go into a hole because I don't know if they just don't like it. They don't feel good. They're not sure what they're doing. Like, you know, in fact, I had a buck, one of my 4-year-olds in Ohio has been gone for 10 days. And I'm to the point where I'm like, I don't like that, you know, especially with EHD being, and he showed up at a corn pile the other day, all shut out. And I'm like, well, there he is, you know? So yeah, they just do weird stuff at this time of year. It's a transition. We talked with Derek Dixon. He was talking about, you know, their gut having to adjust to switching, you know, food sources, especially moving to the acorns. That's a huge part of it. So yeah, it's just understanding that there's a lot going on right now. And, you know, unfortunately some people have to hit the panic button because they're in some bad situations from an EHD, but for most of us, it's just a weird situation and timing for deer, and things will even out here. Next thing you know, scrapes are going to be blown wide open.
I'm excited to do some hunting on my farm. You know, coming back from North Dakota, it gives you some perspective, and I hope it doesn't wear off, but it's like, it's just such a different mode of like, there's no scrapes, there's no manipulation that we've done whatsoever. So you're purely reliant on sign, mainly tracks, you know, and trails. And,
weird situation.
And I found myself, like, we went back up to the farm this past weekend to, I don't know what I was doing. I had a couple projects to do, but I was like, I felt like I was looking at everything different.
Yeah.
I was like, I never noticed that trail before or this. I was really picking up on a lot of that stuff. So
just reading more sign because you just come off of that as being like the main. I did the same thing when I was doing elk. It was the same thing. I'm like walking down, my neck hurt from just walking and like looking down for tracks for so long. And then I end up at my house, and I'm like, boy, that's a big track.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because I went to some areas. I was checking plots, I think is what I was doing. I was, you know, just wanting to see the condition on. I was putting more clover seed down. I did that too. And I like found myself eyeing up trees for tree stands that I've never looked at before. I'm just like, well, yeah. For whatever reason, I was just like, yeah, okay, we've always been here. It's this or that, but it's what if I just work this back a little bit? Because that's what it is out there predominantly. It's like it's the same in that it's bed food. You're trying to find a transition, you know, read sign in between here and there, and how close can I get? So it's more just about walking it back, you know. And it's like, see, and that's the hard part, I think, when you're hunting with a group of guys, because it's like it's not something everybody can do. Just frankly, that strategy requires mobility and the ability to like hang and bang. And also a discernment, you know, of how far is too far. You know, how do I'm not trying to blow out the area.
I don't want to be right on top of them
for everybody, but I'm going to do some hunting, you know, so it's like, you got to get in there and take some risks and stuff. So, right, at least right now, you know, I there's a little bit of feeling like I'm going to do that. Even in known areas, like, you know, there's the big 4-year-old that I think we're going to try to get killed early on.
Yep.
I'm realizing based on how I planted that screen in there that it's going to pinch them right up to that stand, and it's not going to work probably.
Oh, really? Like you think too close?
I think, well, it's not a close thing as much as it is like they're going to be downwind of you at some point. I think it will work great for morning sets. I think for evening, not so much.
Gotcha. From a thermal standpoint and stuff.
From where they're coming from.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, so I think I need to be on the other side of this little clearing here. So I went and I scouted out some trees there the other day and stuff. And
that would put you up higher too, wouldn't it? Because isn't where the stand is now kind of low, like eye level almost with that field?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just on a different. I know. So in the morning they're coming from the west. You know, they're going to come up there. You know, they're going to visit one of those feeders on the way up there.
Yep.
And then they're going to come up this draw, and so it's fine if I'm going to be on the other side of it. I'll kill them right at that scrape there probably. But in the evenings they're going to come up from the east. They're going to circle downwind to that stand, even on northwest winds, and they're going to come right up that gap between the stand and that stuff I planted. And so I need to be on the west side of that plot on a north wind.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean that's the stuff that
dude, those custom gears, man, like they just
I know.
And all over North Dakota, as we're doing that like mode of hunting, I'm just like I'm not saying most people can't do it. You know what I mean? Our age and stuff, if you're driven, if you're you can do it, but like, I mean, dude, there's no way my dad or, you know, you're getting guys in their 40s, 50s to like adapt that as a new mode of like, yeah, I'm willing to do this. Like guys that are just so used to like climbing the ladder stand, you know, they got to have all their limbs trimmed and stuff. It's just, it's not that. It's a totally different thing.
Yeah. I really relate it back to like, you know, and age plays a factor in it, but like if you were a tree climber when you were young, like you are built for mobile hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you like to just end up in climbing trees and stuff, like that's the mindset you have to have, because you have to look at how that tree works to be able to place your sticks and figure out where your back cover is and what you've got around you and stuff, and minimal trimming. And yeah, it's the same way. It's like, how am I going to weasel my way up to that top point without, you know, the tree bending on me?
Yeah, well, it's really a game too of like reading the entire situation, like in bow range, before you even take a stick off your back.
Yeah.
I made, I guess, probably a wrong call in North Dakota that might have gotten one killed. Like basically Lucas and I walked to these set of trees together. And he was going to drop me. He's like, I hung in this one before, or it was one of these here. And he's like, just make a decision and then and he went off a different way. And so basically what I had was, it was like a row. So it was like a big open, it was like more open timber that we were walking through. It was just kind of like a staging, like it was grassy, but like smaller trees. And like, it just was like, they transitioned through it, but that's it. And what we got to was like it was a waterway, and that was like kind of the definitive, that was the opening, like where you're going to be able to see them. And then there was trails, you know, coming out from the willow thicket across it. Yep. And they were crossing in a variety of patterns. And then they would walk this way, you know, right on the upper bank of it too. And so I made a decision on a tree that would allow me to shoot kind of out into the waterway. Yep. And also some trails right below me and also right behind me. Mm-hmm. And so here's what ended up happening was I had a buck come out about 51 yards up in the waterway from me. And it was like the last 15 minutes of light. Yeah. 15, you know, it was getting pretty dark. And I mean, it was close enough that I was like, you know, under the right circumstances, I'd consider taking a 50-yard shot. Mm-hmm. But it just was dark. I didn't immediately know who the buck was, and like enough things just made me not feel comfortable with the shot. I never drew my bow or anything like that. But then in hindsight, I realized that like I didn't even have a shot to this side. It was too thick. There was too many trees, and I'm like, so why
are you so tight to that
far to that side? And so we actually went back and hunted the same spot for that same deer like 2 nights later, and I moved the stand like 6 or 7 yards in that direction, and so it still gave me all those shots that I had, and I would have been able to shoot further out in there. And I had just as good a cover and everything like that. So that is the art, I think, of hanging tree stands. Not even just how do I get it in the tree correctly, but can I read enough of what's around me to and also the you know, your shot windows. That's the hardest part, is knowing if I get in this tree, is that tree going to block my shot?
Because we're not sitting there cutting and trimming everything.
You're not doing much trimming it at all. So you gotta perceive it from the ground and hang accordingly for the optimum amount of like shot windows.
Well, and I think even just like that kind of next hunt adjustment, like
that would have done it. That would have killed that deer, man. That would have put me at like 43 yards.
Yep.
Whatever, and he probably would have been toast.
And think of how many people are sitting in a stand. Like, let's say it's even a hang on. Like, you put up a hang on, you got sticks on it, and then you realize, ooh, you know, I'm 10 yards away from the right side. I would say 90% of people aren't ripping that down and probably moving 10 yards. They're just hoping that deer comes 10 yards.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference of mobile hunting, you know, and it kills way more deer. I mean, being mobile and being able to understand and perceive what's happening around you and then make that approach is killer. Whether it's a hang on or a saddle, it doesn't matter. Like, just making a movement mobily to be able to have those opportunities and capitalize on them, it kills way more deer than just sitting in place and hoping the deer comes to you.
I think what it does is it allows you to like assess a movement pattern and hunt it way more flexibly than you are tied to a specific tree. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like we've all been guilty of like, that's the best tree. I got to be in the tree. And yeah, maybe over years you manipulate the area, you know, you design food plots and do all these things to put it in range of a certain tree. But especially on public land, or if you're running and gunning, like,
yeah, it is what it is.
It has nothing to do with what tree is where. No. It's how do you get in proximity. I mean, dude, we sat on the ground, 2 or 3 different times in North Dakota just because it was the right spot.
How did you? I know you guys hunt that river corridor a lot. I mean, did you feel pretty good with like your wind and thermals, like pulling in that river a lot, or were you getting more inconsistent, like stagnant kind of swirling?
I mean, there was definitely some days that it was not doing what we wanted it to do. Truthfully, I kind of was relying on Lucas's read of the area, because definitely all the water has a pull, including the river.
Yep.
I don't know if I want to say, because there's different bodies of water too. It's like you have, in some cases you just have channels.
Yeah, which are more stagnant and not a ton of movement.
And then in other cases you have just waterways, which is stagnant, trapped water. And then you have the river,
which is moving and pulling.
And not a ton, but it is.
Yeah,
it is moving. So
I just wonder, with like when you said you sat on the ground and stuff, if some of that strategic positioning was because you had a better pull directionally on that.
No, it was mainly just because there was no tree advantage,
which makes a lot of sense.
Like where that buck came out and stood that first morning that I was talking about.
Be where you got to be.
We went right there and tucked into some buck brush and it's just where you needed to be. And we would have absolutely killed him right there, Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting time because you catch that, really not by a ton, but those North Dakota deer are definitely a little bit ahead of what's happening here, just from shedding out and kind of splitting up and still hitting like main ag fields and doing that kind of thing. But
I'd say they're right on.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're all across the board. So when we were out there, whatever that was, a week ago, they were probably maybe 50% of them were shut out. I mean, it was right in the middle.
Yeah.
Or I said it on the last, whatever it was there, but yeah, they're still together, bachelor group for sure. And just starting to rub out there a little bit. I mean, they're kind of doing what they're, if anything, I had some bucks shut out here. But the 14th of August, we had one shut out in September.
Yep.
Or of August rather. We had one shut out in November.
Nodak.
In Nodak. Yeah. But I've had some shut out here for a while too.
Yeah.
Going on 10 days now, probably.
I'm starting to see, like I said, a couple of those 4-year-olds shut out. I'm starting to see more of those deer just kind of not as much bachelor grouped.
Yeah. Here right now, I'd say they're 80% shut out.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Very few left in velvet. I'd one 3-year-old 8-point last night, came in like just starting, came back in, gone, clean.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're moving, and I mean between that and the acorns, I mean testosterone's on the rise too. Like you probably, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me in some areas if you go through and see some in fact, I had one. I don't know, it might have been the last part of August. He was shed out early. I would say 21st or 22nd of August. He came in and was pawing, working a scrape. So we
found some of those in North Dakota too. Worked scrapes.
Oh yeah, so you're definitely starting to see that activity pick up and. Especially as these bachelor groups break up and more establishment of hierarchy. I
will say I feel more in tune with like our Ohio herd and our specific property than I ever have.
Yeah.
Like I feel it doesn't stress me out at all about like, what are they doing? What is this?
I'll be interested to what they do here, right? Because like you sent me that picture the other day and there's 6 bucks that are shed out all around that feeder.
Yeah.
Like how long are they going to tolerate being in the same area?
I would say they'll shift on to probably acorns and stuff more often. I think my sense around the feeder thing is they just, well, and I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see if one buck will kind of dominate it or not. But you do see, I had those 2 4-year-old bucks out the other day, and clearly one was dominant over the other.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting. But still, he came back, So does he kick him off it completely, or do they?
Yeah.
Do they just share time at it?
Time shares.
That's what I would think. I think it's more of they just don't go in when the other one's there.
Yeah, they just don't overlap their territories at the same time.
That other one did go back. It was interesting that for the first time all summer, he just took a little skirt down there, nosed that other one off, just asserted his dominance, and then went back.
Yeah, just starting to form those core areas and territories for sure.
Yeah, and at the same time, these older ones, that 6-year-old bucks, they're just not at them, but they're dominating their own area.
They're probably there. I'm sure they're downwind.
Probably.
Just making sure they're still known there for sure.
Yeah. It's tore up around those. That's worth noting. Like, all around those feeders is scrapes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, this is there in mid-September. And so, in the mirror on another 2 weeks, Ohio opens. And, by that time it's yeah, it's pretty diced up, and you know, you're already starting to think first October cold front at that point to really kill one on a scrape even. So yeah, we're not too far off from it. A lot of things in hunting, and hopefully some rain at some point to get things going. It's just crazy how dry it is, but yeah, nothing you can do about it. It's just, it is what it is, and you just kind of navigate as it comes, and hopefully we start catching some rain, and if not, figure out acorns, find some scrapes, and kill them on that.
I think it's a long-term thing. Like, we'll get some rain. You know, one would hope, you'd assume at some point, you know, it will rain again.
It will. Mm-hmm.
But I think we'll feel it for into next year. Mm-hmm. I just think, like, there's just no way for things to bounce back completely to, like, you know, replace what was missed here.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we'll
assume
feel the effects of that drought.
I assume our groundwater levels are like insanely low.
Yeah, I think we'll feel the effects of that through into next year.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it will be interesting, especially as we get into the late season from a food source side, because I think that they're probably hitting some browse and some green foods and even beans and stuff way harder than they normally would at this time of year. The acorns might help a little bit here, but I think they've already probably put a hurting on them, and now we get to that late season time frame, and it's like they've already hit that food once.
Right.
And if it doesn't get rain here soon, it's not going to bounce itself back.
If I had to guess at this point, I think the deer on our farm will get to a point, I bet they'll deplete those beans and stuff sometime in December, January.
Yeah.
And we'll probably be more reliant on red oak acorns still on the ground and our feeders. Mm-hmm. That's probably what will be left for them, and any woody browse that we have.
Yeah, carrying them through. Crazy. But yeah, no, in a good spot, and stoked to have Hunt Companion back and ripping again, and yeah, for a note, we'll have more stories to be told.
They're coming, man.
I think. So anyways, we appreciate everyone listening to Hunt Companion, and we will catch you all next week.
Hunt Companion.
Take me